Because we're getting news coming in that a leading international publication, this is Foreign Policy, has said that India's claims that it shot down a Pakistani Air Force F-16 during air combat on the 27th of February are inaccurate, since the United States has countered the Pakistan Air Force's inventory of the fighters, which is complete, they say. So let's go across to Vishnu Som. So Vishnu, what has the government been saying on this? Because they've, as far as I know, repeatedly been saying that Wing Commander Abhinandan shot down a Pak F-16 before being shot down himself.
Yeah, that's right. This is an incredible, this is a huge controversy. It's now been taking place for several weeks, with several international media organizations saying that India had presented no proof to suggest that it had shot down an F-16 aircraft. The Indian Air Force insisting that in fact they did, that Abhinandan had locked onto a Pakistani F-16 and fired an R-73 missile shortly before he was brought down and parachuted into Pakistan. As we know, he was returned safely. But now this particular publication, Foreign Policy, suggests that U.S. authorities have completed a count of the number of F-16s that Pakistan operates, and that count appears to indicate that there are no missing Pakistani F-16s. Now, U.S. government officials that we have been in touch with this morning are not willing to corroborate either way the story which is run in this publication. So there's nothing by way of either a confirmation or a denial from the United States, which in a sense adds to the mystery. The Indian Air Force Chief, other senior Air Force officers, multiple sources that we have spoken to on the basis of the debrief of Abhinandan have said that in fact he did shoot down this F-16. So there is also additional sort of proof on the ground. One of this was a WhatsApp video where a person in Pakistan was saying that he had observed two parachutes coming down. Now, we do know that the MiG-21 that Abhinandan was flying was a single-seater. So who was that second pilot? That's one question. Secondly, there was a press conference which was organized by the Pakistani official spokesperson, who actually said in the initial phase on the 27th itself, when this dogfight took place, that there were three pilots in their custody. We know one of them was Abhinandan. He's been returned. So the question then, who were the other two pilots? Was this a twin-seater F-16 which was shot down? So this remains a very big mystery. The Indian Air Force absolutely adamant that based on intelligence that they have, based on electronic frequency matches that they have, they believe that Abhinandan did shoot down the F-16. But ultimately the proof of the pudding lies in the number of F-16s that are there on the ground. And if this publication says that U.S. officials have told them that all of them are on the ground, then we certainly would hope that there is some sort of official statement from the U.S. government as well, and indeed from the Indian Air Force, because the Foreign Policy article does mention that on record U.S. officials were not willing to comment.
All right. And Vishnu, Foreign Policy is a very credible international magazine on this. They're not the only ones. There have been other questions raised by other international media, not just on the F-16 shoot down, but also on the success of the raid on the Balakot training camp. Is that right?
That's right. So while everybody has suggested, as far as the F-16 is concerned, that India has not provided evidence or proof thus far, there have been question marks on the success of India's bombing on the Balakot a terror camp of the Jaish-e-Mohammed. I have seen a photograph, a high-resolution image, as have a few other journalists, which show one of the structures clearly having been struck by three Spice 2000 weapons. However, satellite imagery is not, which is publicly available, is not very clear about this, and in many cases these publications have just simply not looked in the right area. So here again, the government of India and the Indian Air Force maintain, the Air Chief has gone on record with this as well, that they struck those targets in Balakot and the attacks themselves were accurate. So you know, I mean, there's a big chasm between what the Indian Air Force is telling us, what the government of India is telling us, in many cases on record, in more cases off the record, and what international observers and international publications are saying.
All right, so Vishnu Som reporting that foreign policy is quoting sources in the US government saying that Pakistan's Air Force inventory of F-16s is complete. So this is a developing story. Hopefully we can get sources in the US government to confirm this ourselves. We'll follow up with you, Vishnu, for more throughout the day.